Today here on Outside the Box Reviews, well, I'm not really reviewing anything. I just want to talk a little bit about the new Predator Series 4 articulation / quality control issues versus the past. I've seen a lot of people talking online, and even some comments on my channel here, about fear of breaking joints with this new wave as there were in previous waves. And I have personal experience with that myself. If you saw my review on the Elder here, his arm broke twice before I got one that I was so careful with and finally managed to get his arm to move again. Thank goodness. This guy here on the left, I haven't yet reviewed on this page. I'm going to get around to it. I might even do it kind of soon. I've been debating when to do it. But this was the Predator from the Predator Alien 2 pack that came out a year ago. This is my second one of him. But that one was even weirder. The arm didn't break. The arm was unmovable. I boiled the hell out of that joint. I sat there and scraped excess paint out of it with an X-Acto knife. Nothing I could do would get... It was this arm right here. It would get his arm to move. I had never encountered that in an action figure before, where the joint was just fused shut. So we all know in the past, NECA has had issues with this, and I don't think it's any secret that it's there. The good thing I can say is that, first of all, with the Elder, once I got his arm moving, I've been able to pose it. I've moved him around. I've posed him a bunch of different ways. His arm moves fine. There's no problems. After I heated it up and got it moving, everything was good. And I've always suggested to use boiling water, or not really boiling, but hot water, soak the joint in it for a little while and move it. I know there are some people who aren't a fan of that method. They say that it would damage the paint or anything like that. You can also use like a hair dryer or something like that just to apply heat to it. And just find a way to do that and just be gentle and patient with it. So that's my top tip for that whole situation. But with the new one, the Wave 4, I have yet to see any problems with that from anyone. I mean, if someone out there is having issues with the joints on these, please tell me. But everything seems to be pretty darn good on that Wave. The biggest quality control errors I've heard reports of were the paint on top of this guy's head and the hole in the shaman's hand to hold his staff needs to be drilled out. Still a pain in the butt, but it's better than breaking off arms and stuff like that when you're trying to pose your figures. I know NECA has moved factories a couple times and done all kinds of stuff like that in pursuit of better quality. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, I'm sure. I can only imagine that you have a factory that you trust and works for you and things go well, but then quality can slip. I mean, just like any business, quality can slip, and then you have to move on, and you really can't do much more than to try it out with the new company. And you do all the research you can to make sure it's going to work well, but you never have proof. You never know until you get the final product. So it seems like NECA is pursuing to make their figures better. Unfortunately, because of the quantities they deal in, they're not like a Hasbro or anything like that, so we do end up, as the consumer, buying the ones that have issues. But also, I know NECA's been pretty good about trying to get people figures, replaced or whatever if there's been damage and anything like that. So, you can't fault them there. At least I see no reason to fault them there. And another thing I want to say, and I don't know what it is about the Predators, but they seem to have the biggest quality control issues of anything NECA's put out lately. If you look at the Scream figure, or the new Freddy's, or the Terminator figures, you don't see these issues. I don't know if it's something about the build of the Predator, the way they're designed, the way they're painted, something causes those issues to surface. So for those of you who have been saying, this is horrible, I'm not buying any more NECA products, all that stuff, it seems to me to be isolated to the Predator line that we're having these quality control issues, and like I said, they're being resolved from what I've seen. If you like the figures, I don't see any reason why you should swear off of it, and in all honesty, how many companies are putting out horror, sci-fi themed figures like this? I hate the feeling of it's this or nothing, but it kind of is. And you gotta applaud NECA for at least having the balls to go out there and make these figures and put them out in the market, because while they've proven there is a market for it, most companies aren't willing to accept that, aren't going to believe it as readily as NECA will just go and put these guys out. So that's my spiel here. Anyone who's watched this channel knows I am a huge fan of this Predator line. I'm a huge fan of NECA's figures in general, and I just figured I want to come out here and give everybody a heads up and tell them it's safe to get these new figures. They're good. They're really good. I like them.